Hello, everyone. Wanted to bring you a special episode. We'll do these more and more of Chip Talks Live. So we're going to go live when there's important and interesting information in the world of the endocannabinoid system, endocannabinoid sciences, marijuana, medical marijuana. So when there's hot topics going on, we'll likely go live and discuss them a little bit with you guys, or at least throw out some perspectives and some thoughts and see what y'all think about them. So, what I really want to talk to about today is the comments that the FDA commissioner, Robert Khalif, made a couple of days ago about CBDs. And so, let me get the exact quote here. Appearing before the House Oversight and Accountability Committee last Thursday, FDA Commissioner Robert Khalif said the use of CBD raises safety concerns, especially with long term use. Okay. Studies have shown evidence of liver toxicity. Okay. Interactions with certain medications. That's valid. And possible harm to male reproductive systems. That's interesting. CBD exposure is particularly concerning for children and during pregnancy. Okay. Let's break this down a little bit. So again, I can go out and find you a study to support just about any, wild claim that I want to make. The fact that, first of all, CBDs, as most of you guys know, most of us know, CBDs have been out, let's say, in the general population since 2013, 2014, but with great frequency, let's say, since 2018 or so. So there's not many people who haven't tried a CBD product, I would say, at this point. So they're very common. We all kind of know the difference between, let's say, drugstore CBD and convenience store CBD, and there is a big difference between those two things. So I think, as consumers, we've likely got that figured out. But this whole time, again, if this CBDs are so unsafe and horrible, where's the FDA been since 2014? I mean, if they're making these claims about CBD, where the heck have they been? If they've just letting this run crazy, I mean, if that's really what they think, they've just been letting this go. So they've just been, oh, we'll not do anything about it. We really think it's unsafe, but we'll go testify in front of Congress. Oh, it's horribly unsafe, but we're going to sit on our hands and not do anything about it. Now, most of you guys know this story. So in 2018, we had tremendous interest in the CBD market by many, many major companies. We had Donald Trump was the president at this time, but we had major Coke and Pepsi, major consumer brands looking to enter the CBD market and, build beverages that are sold in, grocery stores, right, that have CBD in them. In fact, there was, let's say there was racks for the products being made to go on the shelves, in late 2018. And all of that was in anticipation of Farm Bill 2018, which would, let's say, free up the ability to move around hemp across the United States, which it wasn't really free to do before then. So Farm Bill 2018 said, okay, well, hemp is not marijuana. And hemp does not need to be regulated in the same way that marijuana does. So, go to it. So they basically kind of took the gloves off, let's say, the hemp market, and the federal government kicked regulation of hemp and thereby CBDs to the states, to state agricultural departments. So everybody, let's say in commercial industry, is all excited about this. We're ready to go to market. We're ready to bring all these really cool CBD products to market. And then you had the director of the FDA come out in late, I believe, December of 2018. Gottlieb was his name. And he said, no. CBD is a drug because we've had somebody apply, Epidiolex apply, and take CBD up the drug development pathway. So CBD is a drug. Well, again, between you and me, that's synthetic CBD, and that's a little different than what comes out of the plant. And GW Pharma and thereby Jazz Pharmaceuticals had to do that in order to patent it. Now, I will say this, I'll compliment the heck out of Jazz Pharmaceuticals for walking up CBD through the FDA drug development pathway. And at the end, you've got something that's a Schedule I narcotic, right? So that takes some intestinal fortitude, let's say, to do that when you know that at the end of the day, you're going to have something that's unsafe, has no medical value, and is horribly addictive. And that's what Schedule I says. So Jazz spent a lot of money to build a drug that has that label on it, right? So that's pretty brave. There hasn't been any other, brave pharmaceutical companies out there. But anyway, that being said, you had, so back to 2018 and back to Gottlieb saying, has a speech. He does a big speech, FDA, I don't care what Farm Bill 2018 says. We've just had Epidiolex approved as a drug. It's a CBD analog, and you're not going to put drugs in water, commercial industry. So you're not going to put this CBD stuff in beverages, and you're not going to put it in consumer products, and you're not going to go sell it at Walmart and Walgreens and all these places. No, we're not going to let you do that. Well, that freaked out commercial industry. Again, you will recall we had hearings all through 2018 or 2019, summer of 2019. The FDA is supposed to issue guidance, which it never has. I do know under a Trump administration that we would have had proper regulation there on, let's say the cannabis industry and CBD industry. So we would have had some FDA guidance, and likely we would have just had it all rescheduled to Schedule III. But we don't have that yet, do we? In fact, we've got nothing. And now we've got the head of the FDA. Oh, well, let's continue the story. So Gottlieb goes on to become head of, chairman of the board of Pfizer. Pfizer buys a CBD company for $6 billion called Arena Pharmaceutical. And then interestingly, a month after that deal closed, the FDA started shutting down all the CBD manufacturers, or not shutting them down, let's say visiting them with warning letters in hand. Are you guys putting CBD in your dietary supplement? Yes, we are, FDA. Here's your warning letter. Good luck doing business. Pass now. See you later. Bye. Right. So they're still in the process of doing that. And it's kind of the way, not to be too conspiratorial. It's the way that, it's the way that an industry can be boundaried. And so that's what it appears to me like what the FDA does, but they don't really know what to do with CBD. So they come out with this, statement that, again, is still indicating that CBD is somewhat dangerous. We don't know, to be honest with you. Again, I'm not going to get up on my pulpit and say CBD is safe under all conditions. We don't know that. Yet again, this is the very reason why we need to properly regulate the industry, be that at the state level or federal level. It really doesn't matter. But then begin to research. So there's no PhD programs that are researching CBD right now. You may have a researcher wanting to, do his own thing, but you don't have anybody formally studying this stuff. And yet you've got all these experts coming out and giving all these opinions. Oh, it's horrible for pregnant women. Really? Did you dig up some study on the internet there, Commissioner? Come on now. So if you're pregnant and you're thinking about taking CBDs, I would read everything that you can about contraindications and things like that. So don't go willy-nilly that this is all safe. But at the same time, gosh, a lot of pregnant women have taken CBDs over the past, let's say, 7 or 8 years. And, we're certainly not seeing, news articles about horrible outcomes, all over the place, are we? The other interesting thing that he says here in his comments is, some of the research, I would say, kind of behind them. And CBD has been, there's thousands and thousands of years of anecdotal research on CBD. So it's pretty, ballsy of him to come up and make the claims that he did. No. So why did he do this? Well, I think this really has to do with, the FDA has been just being raked over the coals by the House Oversight Committee. And the House Oversight Committee has certainly confronted them on CBD and cannabis regulation and kind of what they're going to do about it. The interesting thing here, though, is I doubt, and I'll just walk you guys through this, but this is kind of my opinion, but it is how I think things are going to go. So what do I think is going to happen, and kind of what role do I see the FDA playing? So let me kind of walk you through that, and then we'll cut it off. I'm sure you guys have had enough of me live. So the role that the FDA is likely to play is this. So if Schedule 3 happens, and that's the most likely thing that's going to happen, is Schedule 3 is going to happen. Well, a lot of people in commercial industry think, oh no, that's going to be the worst thing in the world. The FDA or DEA is going to dictate to my state, and then the whole infrastructure is going to change, and my recreational marijuana program that I've had here in the state, or my medical marijuana program here that I've had here in the state, is going to be destroyed by all this effort. I don't think that's going to happen. In fact, I don't think, since states have acted on the marijuana question, I don't think the federal government can come in and override that. That would kind of break the Constitution, wouldn't it? And I don't think can happen and is going to happen. So I think what's going to happen is something like Schedule 3, an event is going to happen. And I do think the FDA is going to get involved, and hopefully it's a recast FDA, but I do think that FDA is going to get involved at that point. And again, help define what that looks like. So what does it look like? What is, let's say, CBD products, and what do cannabis products look like under a Schedule 3 situation? So how are we going to regulate that, let's say, nationally? But then the FDA is going to work with states to help them build their basically state programs to snap into their existing marijuana programs. And that's about the only way it can go, really, unless you want to break the Constitution. There may be some other way that I'm not seeing, but you're not going to have the DEA and FDA come in and change our hard fought, we the people, won programs. It's just not just going to happen. I mean, Oklahoma, I know, won't let that happen. So anyway, that's a little bit there. But I wanted to really comment on this FDA commissioner. Again, these regulators come from a very uninformed position. And if you're listening to this and you are a regulator, I don't mean to be unduly hard on you. What I would encourage you to do is to find some consultants that are in commercial industry that can help you understand this industry, because every time you speak, you're coming from a position of ignorance is what it looks like. You don't understand the industry. You don't understand us. You don't understand the people that are, innovating or developing in the industry. You just don't get it. So you need to get it. If you're going to regulate this industry, you've got to get it. So you need help. And again, I would not count on all of these nonprofits and, tried and true even names, like NORML, to really be there to advise you. So again, those organizations, and again, I'm not picking on NORML in particular, but those organizations are agenda driven, so again, they're about something, they're trying to do something. If you want to regulate the CBD and commercial cannabis industry, you need to speak to the CBD and commercial cannabis industry, not nonprofits, not organizations. You need to really go talk to people who've been there and done that. Anyway, we'll leave it there. We'll see you guys later. We'll be back for another live when something happens. See you guys later. Bye.